Well, we hope you've had a wonderful weekend so far. Good morning. I'm Jim Phillips, and this is Townsquare Sunday. It's a public affairs program that highlights individuals and organizations working to make the South Coast a better place. The homeless problem in New Bedford is one that doesn't seem to go away, but luckily in this community there are a group of organizations working every day to reach out and help that population come in from the cold, convince them to accept help, and hopefully turn their life around. Now, that group is called the Community Service Providers Network. There's a second group, Rise Up for Homes, that's raising money to help the Homeless Providers Network do what they do. And they're sponsoring the first annual New Bedford RiseFest 2019. It's a day-long event, 12 to 12, being held September 1st at the Greasy Luck Brew Pub in downtown New Bedford. Here to talk about it are organizers Sean Fitzgerald and Leslie Poulin and Susan Sylvia. So first off, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Jim.
Okay, it would be easy to describe RiseFest as a day-long music concert and kind of leave it at that, but it's really so much more. Sean, give us an idea what is going to happen at this event.
Certainly, Jim. When we were initially thinking about RiseFest, we thought about the old Jerry Lewis Telethon back in the day, the Labor Day weekend event. And what we wanted to do is try to provide an avenue for people to be able to enjoy music while also contributing to a problem that is essentially much like a plague that's just terrorizing not only this area but the country in general. And we decided to line up a group of musicians, the best musicians, the most eclectic and varied lineup that we could, that New Bedford has to offer, and try to couple that with social media being what it is today, having a live broadcast similar to the Jerry Lewis Telethon back in the day. Now, teaming up with Rise Up for Homes, they have their number there that you can text in, 50155. You can text in any monetary denomination that you'd like. That was one of the ideas we had. People can purchase tickets to contribute to this fund, if you will. But with the live aspect, the live broadcast aspect, we're going to have workers wearing T-shirts with the 50155, encouraging people to call in, pledge any kind of donation, whatever kind of donation they'd like to, and really become part of the solution to this problem. Many times, speaking with people, telling them what I do. I'm a case manager for a family preservation program where we house homeless families that have dealt with addiction, mental illnesses. People, they want to help, but short of giving money at the intersection or dropping clothes off at a bin somewhere, they're not really sure how to. This is an event where you can purchase a ticket. You can come down. You can enjoy the show. You can do what a lot of people do without going out. They sit home and they watch things on their phone. You can do that through this live media event that we have. New Bedford Guide is signed on. They're part of Dartmouth Guide, Fall River Guide. They're going to do a live broadcast of this event on their Facebook pages, their YouTube channels, their Instagram accounts. They have over 300,000 subscribers. So we're going to be reaching a large audience. And that audience can, in turn, while they're enjoying the show, they can text in and they can help just by sitting there and enjoying the show.
Well, that is an amazing production. Sounds like it, locally. That's not a small thing. I can tell you from a little bit of TV experience that I had in my life. That's a big job. That is a big job. So good luck with this. Susan, how did this idea really come about? I mean, music has been a part of the New Bedford scene for a long time, and I'm going back to Davy's Locker days. I mean, that is kind of where this came from. Is that fair to say?
Sean, I think you should probably answer that. Yeah.
It was Susan can speak on. I think you're referring to this was the genesis for this event. Back in the day in the 80s, there was a gentleman in the area. His name was Gary Bosworth. Gary owned Bos's Music, and Gary was a very kind soul. He would, many kids in the area, their parents were not doing very well. Gary would give lessons for free. If you didn't have an instrument, he'd give you the instrument and give you the lessons for free. And some of these kids are now active members of the musical community, not just around here, but in California, in Boston, and New York. And Gary, in his giving nature, he decided to do this event every Memorial Day called RiseFest. And it was you're correct, down at Davies Locker, the old Billy Woods Wharf, at Smuggler's Den. And it was a day-long event. He would do what we have tried to do here, try to emulate that. He would get about 12 to 13 bands, the best bands, most varied bands. Again, he'd have country bands, rock bands, disco bands. This goes back a little ways when disco was still a raging thing. And he'd have this day-long event. It became something more of a communal event, not only for the spectators who went, but myself being a musician in the area as well for years. We got a chance on that day to hang out with other musicians, meet their family, their friends, and get to actually see them perform, which if you were a busy musician, you didn't really get the chance to go out and see other musical acts perform. So that was, you're right in noticing that. This is maybe the, I don't know, it's kind of our version of the old RiseFest.
This is bigger. You're putting it on Facebook Live in at least in 3 communities, and
yes.
You can see, no matter where you live, you can see it if you know about it. I mean, that's the other thing about it. How did Rise Up get involved, Leslie Poulin?
So it's actually, we're very thankful for Sean because Sean and I have actually sat on a committee together for the point in time count. And I think a little bit through there, he's gotten to know a little bit about Rise Up for Homes. And he came to the advisory committee basically with the idea of RiseFest. And he wanted all of the proceeds to go to Rise Up for Homes, which is kind of how the name came together. It's a musical festival. You got to rise up for homes, so there's RiseFest for you. So his team, his group of volunteers are really the ones that are spearheading all of this. We're just trying to get the word out, spread it out. But Sean and his group of volunteers, including Susan, are really the ones that are making this happen. And I'm so appreciative of that because this is such a fantastic idea and a fantastic way to raise funds to help the homeless, especially with the winter months coming up. We're going to start gearing up and raising funds to keep the emergency overflow shelter open during those 28 degrees or less inclement weather days. So this is going to be really important to raise funds for that.
Susan, you're going to perform as part of the
twice
roster there.
Yes.
And you're going to perform twice.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been the reaction from other performers, from yourself and other performers, when you were approached?
I think everybody's excited to be included who's been part of it. Sean reached out to me because I'm in the 2 bands and asked if we wanted to be part of it. And of course, as a working musician, of course, you want to, do the gigs and the events that people are coming to. You want to support your community. You want, we're all a little bit of, attention seekers. So we want to be out there in the crowd.
That's why we're in the business.
But exactly,
Yeah.
But the long and the short of it is, every year I try to do as much with what I can in terms of donating my time to any community events. And this is just such a large and such an important event that it's not only an honor to be asked to be in it, but it's just an honor to perform in it.
Now, the folks at Greasy Luck, obviously they want to see people in the building that day.
Yes.
People in the building means something that, they make some money,
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And even if you can't attend, you can still watch and donate. That's the different part about this. Through Facebook, you'll be able to watch it and make a donation. Hopefully, do you have a financial goal in mind, Sean?
We do. We're trying to raise $20,000. We're looking at it. Ticket prices are $20 in advance, $25 at the door. We don't think that it's an unrealistic goal. If people really want to buckle down, help out, enjoy themselves too. Greasy Luck, being as generous as they've been in letting us hold this event without charging anything, they've agreed to pledge 10% of the day's proceeds towards Rise Up for Homes. We want to thank Veterans Transitions House as well for donating funds and Catholic Social Services, because part of the reason when you undertake something like this, clearly you're going to need some kind of capital to get the posters done, to pay the musicians for any expenses, to whatever, the sound guys. We've got sound guys that are going to be there for about 14 hours, pre-show, after show, during show. And
security? You're going to need
security,
some
stage
security.
hands.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some volunteers that are going to help out with that. But the great thing is, pretty much everybody that I've reached out to about doing this and letting them know that we have some funds if needed for expenses. New Bedford Guide, they're going to do it. They're donating the entire event, which is a phenomenal donation. I mean, a 12-hour broadcast live. The bands have not asked for anything as of right now. We do have expenses with marketing as to be expected. But my point is that people are on board pretty much 100%, and I couldn't have asked. Each band I reached out to said yes. One act was unable to because of a prior commitment, but what's really touched me is the cooperation.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing. You need it in any kind of venture like this, any sizable venture, cooperation and a willingness to give of either time or money or whatever it takes. You're listening to Town Square Sunday. My guests are Sean Fitzgerald, Leslie Poulin, and Susan Sylvia. They are involved in New Bedford RiseFest 2019, September 1st in downtown New Bedford. So how long has the planning gone on for this event?
It's been a few months.
It's been a few months. I mean, the tricky thing about this was trying to... I've had the idea for a while, actually, since BossFest faded. This area has been missing that event. It's like a black hole of non-music, if you will. So for a while, we've been thinking about this and really picked up the ball, I'd say, in February. Started to reach out to, again, I was trying to get the best drawing, most eclectic bands. Started to reach out to some of them, Route 18, Butch McCarthy. I reached out to Sue, who mentioned before, she's with the acoustic act Something Else. The second act that she's performing in is a band. This is going to be their first gig in 20 years almost.
Yeah.
Scared?
No, thrilled. Carfax Abbey was my very first band that I was ever in. It's a six-piece. There's six of us. And that's Michael Murphy, Brian Raposa, Alan Thomas, Wayne Farias, Tim McKenna, and myself. And we played, I won't tell you how old I was, but, and we played around for several years, and it was a really fun band, rock-centered with some dance music. And then when we split up, we kind of stayed friends, and I've been in some bands with them off and on here and there. But last year, we tried to get together for a reunion, and it kind of didn't work. And then we tried again this year, and it just so happened that we were in the talk of doing that when Sean reached out asking for the acts and had said, hey, did I hear some rumor that Carfax Abbey might be getting back together again? And I said, yeah, maybe. And so this is our first gig, so we're coming out for our 20-year reunion, awesome. And we're very, very excited to be there.
Great.
Very excited.
We're coming out big, too, big event.
It is a big event. So tell us about the silent auction. And have you already collected a lot of stuff?
We do have some items. We're going to have. We're not going to announce what they are right now because we're not allowed to. But we're going to have two high-profile items for the silent auction. And part of this event, what we're going to have New Bedford Guide doing is they're going to be broadcasting in the vault room the live electric bands. And when those bands take a break, we're also going to have a camera in the pub side. They're going to be broadcasting the acoustic acts. During that as well, we're going to have footage upstairs in the green room. And in the green room, there's going to be raffle items as well as the auction items. We're going to have a camera up there. People at home will see these items. They're going to be encouraged to, please, feel free, bid on these items. Again, they can get involved in the whole event. We're also going to have a phone bank up in that same room. We're going to have a few homeless service providers on those phones. So if people have any concerns, any questions, they want to call in, they can do so. And it looks like we're going to have two celebrity operators on the phone as well to take some bids. So we're excited for that.
So Leslie, you'll be on the phones probably?
Sure.
Yes, she is.
I was hoping to just go and enjoy the event.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But yes, whatever Sean needs, he knows I'm there. But yes, we are, First Citizens is actually trying to help and getting him some volunteers. Mm-hmm. So volunteers, working phones, whatever it is, we're there for sure. We definitely want to support him however we can. So.
I'd also like to give special thanks to Leslie Poole and Peter Muse and your team at First Citizens. You guys have done a phenomenal job, and honestly, we wouldn't be where we are right now if you hadn't stepped up and really pitched in and helped us out. So,
it's our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's such a great cause. So
they are the folks really behind There's many more, but there are folks behind, leading the charge really for the Rise Up program, and Rise Up will benefit here. There's another benefit, I think. You may receive some money, and hopefully you'll reach the goal of $20,000. That'll be great. But it's putting Rise Up, frankly, in the public view for a full 12 hours. I mean,
absolutely.
People may not even know what Rise Up is. It's the funding arm, really, for the Homeless Service Providers Network here in New Bedford. And when money comes in, or you want to make a donation or whatever, it really goes to Rise Up first.
Yep.
It's going to be a great way to publicize your organization.
Definitely.
For sure.
And like I mentioned earlier, with the winter coming, Rise Up for Homes raises the funds to keep that overflow shelter open from November 1st through April 30th. So it's quite a few months of winter weather, and that's what that's for. And then we also hold an event in October to help people who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless, with a one-day event where they can come to one location and get all the help and services they need. And that's called New Bedford Connect, which we've talked about before.
Yeah. So it's September 1st, Sunday, September 1st, New Bedford RiseFest 2019. That's at the Greasy Luck Brew Pub in downtown New Bedford. Where can people learn more? Can they get tickets online or anything
Yes,
like that?
they can. They can go to www.eventbrite.com. Tickets will be available at the door the day of the event. There'll be $25 at the door that day. You can get them in advance at Eventbrite for $20. We're also going to have tickets available at Symphony Music Shop. It looks like at Purchase Street Records as well. And we're waiting on word from a couple other venues.
Okay. My guests have been Sean Fitzgerald and Leslie Poulin, who are organizers of New Bedford RiseFest 2019, and Susan Sylvia, who will perform at the event. Again, this is a day-long event, 12 to 12, RiseFest 2019, September 1st, at the Greasy Luck Brew Pub in downtown New Bedford. Again, for tickets, you have an online address?
www.eventbrite.com, or you can get them at the Greasy Luck or Purchase Street Records or the Symphony Music Shop.
Good luck to all of you.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank you, Jim.
event. Sounds
Thank you.
great. Townsquare Sunday returns in just one moment.